Hey everyone, we're about to take a deep dive into a universe that's actually inside you right now. I'm talking about the secret life of your cells. It's wild, it's full of action, and trust me, by the end of this, you're gonna see how it all clicks together.
So, I hear you might have a big test coming up, maybe on Wednesday, November 19th? Well, you've come to exactly the right place. We are going to break down one of the coolest, most fundamental processes of life, how your cells divide.
And look, I know it can seem like a lot at first, all these new words and stages, but don't you worry, we've totally got you covered. The main ideas, they're actually pretty straightforward once you see them. So let's just dive right in.
Okay, here's the game plan. First up, we'll check out what a cell does all day. That's the cell cycle. Then, we'll get into mitosis, which I like to call the copy machine. After that, it's meiosis, which is all about creating variety. And to wrap it all up, we'll have the final showdown, putting them head to head.
All right, first stop, a cell's life, the cycle. Let's start with the basics. What's the daily routine of one of your typical body cells? Well, you can think of it like its day job, and most of that job is just getting ready for the main event, division.
The star of this first part of our story is what's called a somatic cell. Now, that sounds super technical, right? But really, it's just any normal body cell. You know, a skin cell, a muscle cell, anything that's not a reproductive cell. And the really important word here is diploid. Just remember, di means two. So it has two complete sets of chromosomes.
Okay, so a cell's life basically has two big parts. The longest one by far is called interphase. Think of this as the getting ready stage. It's broken down into 3 steps, G1, S, and G2. After all that prep work is done, then we hit the main event, the M phase, or mitosis. That's when the actual split happens.
So, what's actually going on during all this prep time? Well, in G1, the cell is just living its life. It's growing, doing its normal cell stuff. At this point, let's say the DNA amount is X. Then comes the really crucial part, the S phase. S stands for synthesis, and this is where the cell copies every single piece of its DNA. It's a huge deal. And finally, in G2, it does one last check, make sure everything is perfect, and grows a bit more before it's ready to divide. So here's the key takeaway from that whole prep phase. After that S phase, the amount of DNA in the cell has literally doubled. We're at 2x. This is so important, so lock that fact in your brain, because everything that comes next depends on it.
Okay, our cell is prepped. It's got double the DNA. Now it is ready for mitosis, the copy machine. Seriously, that's the absolute best way to think about it. The whole point of mitosis is to create identical cells for growth and repair. When you get a cut and your skin heals, yep, that's mitosis in action, making perfect new copies of your skin cells.
So, how does this copy machine work? It's a 4-step process. And here's a little magic word to help you remember the stages forever. PMAT. Yep, PMAT. Let's walk through what each letter stands for.
First up, P is for prophase. Imagine your DNA is like a bunch of super long, messy spaghetti. In prophase, the cell winds it up super tight into these little X shapes we call chromosomes. At the same time, the nucleus, the container for the DNA, starts to break down so the chromosomes can get out.
Next, M is for metaphase. This one's the easiest to remember. M for middle. All those packed up chromosomes line up perfectly, single file, right in the middle of the cell.
Then comes A for anaphase. Think A for apart or away. Those X-shaped chromosomes, they're actually made of 2 identical copies stuck together. In anaphase, those copies, we call them sister chromatids, get pulled apart and start moving to opposite sides of the cell.
And finally, T is for telophase. The chromosomes have reached their destinations on opposite ends. Now, the cell starts building a brand new nucleus around each group, so you've got 2 command centers in one cell getting ready for the final split.
And for the grand finale, cytokinesis. The rest of the cell, all that jelly-like stuff called cytoplasm, finally splits right down the middle. And what do you get? 2 brand new, totally identical daughter cells. Perfect copies. Job done.
Okay, so mitosis is the copy machine. Got it. But what if you don't want a perfect copy? What if the whole point is to mix things up and create something unique? Well, for that, we need a whole different process. Say hello to meiosis, the special kind of division for making sex cells or gametes.
This is probably the most important slide for understanding the difference, so let's be super clear. The purpose of mitosis? To make identical body cells so you can grow and heal. The purpose of meiosis? To make unique sex cells for reproduction. Mitosis makes diploid cells, 2 sets of chromosomes. Meiosis makes haploid cells, just 1 set.
Meiosis is a 2-part saga, and in Meiosis 1, the first division is where the really game-changing stuff happens. In Prophase 1, the matching chromosomes from your mom and dad find each other and pair up, and then they do this incredible thing called crossing over. They actually swap little pieces of their DNA. This is the secret sauce for genetic variety. It's literally why you aren't a clone of your siblings. Then in Anaphase 1, the pairs separate. That's a huge difference from mitosis.
Okay, after all that exciting stuff in Meiosis 1, we get Meiosis 2. And you know what? This part is going to feel really familiar. It's basically like a mini mitosis. The 2 cells we just made divide again, and this time it's the sister chromatids that get pulled apart, just like we saw before. So, after 2 whole rounds of division, what's the final count? You get 4 cells. But not just any cells. You get 4 unique haploid daughter cells. Each one is a totally new mix of genetic information, all thanks to that crossing over magic. All right, team, we've seen the copy machine mitosis, we've seen the variety generator, meiosis. Now it's time for the final showdown. Let's put these 2 processes head to head so you can really nail the differences. Okay, this chart is your new best friend. Let's run through it. Purpose: mitosis is for growth and repair. Meiosis is for reproduction. How many divisions? Mitosis gets it done in 1 shot. Meiosis is a 2-parter. What do you get at the end? Mitosis gives you 2 identical diploid cells. Meiosis gives you 4 unique haploid cells. Are they genetically the same? In mitosis, absolutely. In meiosis, no way. And where does it happen? Mitosis is all over your body all the time. Meiosis, only in the reproductive organs.
Look, if your brain is full and you can only remember one single thing, make it this. It's so simple. Mitosis makes clones, meiosis makes variety. That's it. That's the core of everything.
So I'll leave you with this final question to chew on. Your body is constantly growing, healing, replacing old cells, right? So what's that incredible process that's working 24/7 to make sure every single new cell is a perfect, identical copy? You got it. It's mitosis. Pretty amazing when you think about it.